In an absolutely jaw-dropping turn of events that has the entire NFL universe buzzing, the Dallas Cowboys have pulled off what many are already calling one of the most seismic blockbuster trades of the decade, landing elite young cornerback Asante Samuel Jr. in a move that instantly shakes up the balance of power in the NFC and sends a clear message that the Cowboys are not just aiming for a competitive season, but are going all in for a legitimate Super Bowl run. And today, we're diving deep into every angle of this monumental acquisition, from what it means for the Cowboys' secondary to how it reshapes the team's identity, the ripple effects across the league, the fan reactions, the locker room energy, and why this move might be remembered for years as a defining moment in Dallas Cowboys history. Because, let's be real, this is not your typical trade. This is a statement, a declaration, and possibly the missing piece that Dallas has been searching for as they continue to chase that elusive return to championship glory. And when you break down who Asante Samuel Jr. is as a player, a competitor, and a rising star, the shock only intensifies, because this is a young corner who has already carved out a reputation for being one of the most instinctive, aggressive, and fundamentally sound defensive backs in the league. A guy who brings not just athleticism and production, but swagger, intelligence, turnover creation, and a deep football pedigree that practically radiates confidence. And now he's wearing the star on his helmet, stepping into a franchise that thrives on big personalities and big performances, making this pairing feel almost too perfect, like a match built for prime-time moments and playoff battles. And as soon as the news broke, Cowboys Nation exploded with excitement, disbelief, debates, and celebration, because for years fans have been calling for Dallas to make a major defensive splash, something bold, something fearless, something that shows the front office is fully committed to fixing long-standing issues in the secondary. And with this move, they've done exactly that, giving defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer a dynamic playmaker who fits seamlessly into his philosophy, someone who can play tight man coverage, break on routes with precision, bait quarterbacks into mistakes, and thrive in the structured yet versatile system that Zimmer is known for. And when you picture Samuel lining up opposite Trayvon Diggs or sliding inside to match up against dangerous slot receivers, you can't help but imagine the chaos this duo can unleash on offenses across the league, because Diggs is a ball-hawking risk-taker who thrives on reading the quarterback's eyes, while Samuel offers disciplined technique, physicality, and the ability to mirror routes with a level of fluidity that stands out even among elite corners. And together they could be one of the most electrifying and unpredictable pairs in the NFL, forcing quarterbacks to second-guess their reads, offensive coordinators to overhaul their game plans, and receivers to fight every inch of separation, which is exactly the kind of defensive intimidation the Cowboys have been missing in recent years. And you can already sense how this move elevates expectations internally, because star players like Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Malik Hooker now have another high-caliber weapon working alongside them, someone who complements their strengths and raises the overall ceiling of the defense. And it's not just about stopping the pass, it's about creating opportunities, forcing turnovers, getting the ball back in Dak Prescott's hands, and giving this offense more chances to put points on the board. And speaking of offense, you better believe guys like CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks are thrilled about this trade too, because great defenders sharpen great receivers in practice, and adding a competitive corner like Samuel means the team's practice intensity just skyrocketed, sharpening timing, precision, and mental toughness across the board. And when you zoom out and look at the broader impact around the league, other NFC contenders are already feeling the pressure, because moves like this change playoff calculus, shift power dynamics, and force rivals to take note, especially teams like the Eagles, 49ers, and Lions, who are already bracing for a tougher Cowboy squad, but now have to deal with a Dallas secondary that instantly upgraded in both talent and versatility. And you can bet analysts across every sports network are dissecting how this trade happened, why the Cowboys were willing to give up what they did, and what it signals about their long-term strategy, because this wasn't a small gamble, this was a major, aggressive push toward winning right now, and in a league where windows of opportunity can close faster than teams expect. Seizing the moment is everything, and the Cowboys have done just that, stepping boldly into a new chapter where excuses won't cut it and expectations will be sky high. But that's exactly how Cowboys fans like it, because the culture of this franchise has always been about aiming for greatness, embracing the spotlight, and chasing the biggest moments with unapologetic ambition. And that's why this trade resonates so deeply, not just because Samuel is talented, not just because he fills a need, but because it symbolizes a mindset shift, a refusal to settle for good enough, a determination to rewrite the narrative and bring the star back to glory. And if you listen to the early chatter from players, coaches, and insiders, you can already feel the new energy pulsing through the organization, with reports of excitement in the locker room, renewed optimism among staff, and a competitive fire that's burning hotter than ever, as players understand that moves like this are about creating a championship culture, raising standards, and locking in mentally as they push toward a season where every game, every snap, and every detail matters. And even though we haven't seen Samuel take the field in a Cowboys uniform yet, fans are already imagining the highlight plays, the clutch interceptions, the pass breakups on critical third downs, and the moments where he shifts momentum with a single explosive read, because that's who he is, a playmaker with the ability to change games, disrupt rhythms, and make quarterbacks regret testing him. And the chemistry between him and the rest of the defense will be one of the most exciting storylines heading into the season, especially as we watch how Zimmer deploys his arsenal of defensive talent, because adding Samuel doesn't just strengthen one position, it unlocks new formations, packages, and disguises that give Dallas the flexibility to adapt to any offensive scheme they face. And over time, as this move settles in and the season unfolds, don't be surprised if analysts start pointing to this moment as the turning point, the catalyst, the spark that ignited a new era in Cowboys football, because big franchises aren't defined by small decisions they're defined by moments of bold leadership, moments when they push their chips to the center of the table and bet on greatness. And that's exactly what Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office have done with this blockbuster trade. Bring in a young, hungry, immensely talented corner who's ready to elevate the defense, energize the fan base, and help drive this team toward the kind of success that Cowboys fans have been craving for decades. And as the dust settles and training camp inches close, one thing is absolutely certain: the Dallas Cowboys just got better, significantly better, and the NFL better be ready, because with Asante Samuel Jr. now wearing the star, the Cowboys aren't just aiming for the playoffs. They're aiming for dominance. They're aiming for redemption. They're aiming for history. And this trade may very well be the beginning of something truly special, something unforgettable, something that Cowboys fans will talk about for years, as the moment everything changed, the moment Dallas stepped boldly back into the spotlight and declared they are here, they are serious, and they are ready to chase a championship with everything they've got.